What we're hearing from Donald Trump is an attempt to suppress the vote. He wants to change the narrative and scare people away from vote by mail at a time when we desperately need it.
Mail ballots, they cheat, okay? People cheat. Mail ballots are a very dangerous thing for this country because they're cheaters.
We need alternatives like vote by mail available everywhere so people can vote. And Donald Trump, he's been pretty explicit about it, right? He sees that as bad for Republicans. So he's trying to shift the narrative and make claims about fraud, that kind of old, same kind of trope that has been used to suppress the vote over and over the years by the right wing. And he wants to do it here in 2020. 31 million Americans voted by mail in the 2018 election. That's a quarter of all people who voted. There are 5 states that conduct almost their entire election by mail. And what we do know about vote by mail is that it makes it easier for people to vote. More people are able to participate. In fact, studies show that states with vote by mail have increased turnout.
I could vote by mail for the,
How do you reconcile
because I'm
that?
allowed to. Let me just say,
Mailing within
well, there's a
state or
big
mailing
difference
outside
between
state.
somebody that's out of state and does a ballot and everything sealed, certified, and everything else. You see what you have to do with the certifications. You get thousands and thousands of people sitting in somebody's living room signing ballots all over the place.
There's nothing to the president's claim that there's greater voter fraud or that it's more dangerous to have people in state voting absentee by mail. He wants us to be talking about voter fraud even though it's extremely, extremely rare. What we know about the system is that when you have infrastructure, when you have the kind of checks you need to ensure that ballots are getting to people, that this system works well. In some states, you can actually track your ballot when it's received so that you know that your vote has counted. And so there are procedures in place, there are experts who can help states and elections officials that aren't as used to voting by mail do it in this time that's remaining before the election. Going to the polls in mass right now, having crowding at the polls at a time when COVID is peaking, and in a year in which we expect it to come back, right, in advance of the general election, is dangerous. That's what's dangerous. So we need to expand the different ways in which people can vote.